Welcome back to Westmoreland on the Gridiron here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Very excited to be joined now by our Week 0 Westmoreland Sports Network Player of the Week. He is sophomore Jayce Powell from the Jeannette Jayhawks, and what a game that he had against the Mount Pleasant Vikings last Friday. 6 catches, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just for fun, he threw a passing touchdown as well against the Vikings. And Jayce, thank you so much for joining me here tonight, and congratulations on the victory against the Vikings.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. And I have to ask you how important it was for you guys to get off to on the right foot. I know you were down in the game, but you came back and beat Mount Pleasant. How important was it to start the season with a victory?
It was very important. You know, it gave us a lot of confidence going into the season, knowing that we can hang around with the bigger schools and how we're going to play against our schools.
Yeah, 2 classifications bigger, Mount Pleasant, and you guys were down 2 scores there in the second half. But did you notice any panic on the sidelines? I know you're a young captain, but as a captain, did anything need to be said, or did you guys have that confidence that you were going to come back and win the game? Kind of give me a feeling of how the psyche was being down by a couple of scores.
Just telling everybody to keep their heads up. All the captains were telling people to keep their heads up, knowing that we're not going to lose the game. We can always come back and score. And yeah.
So you had 3 touchdowns receiving and also 1 throwing. Maybe this is a silly question because obviously your 1 touchdown was the game winner. But what was your favorite of the 3 or 4 if you throw in the passing touchdown too?
It was definitely the game-winning touchdown.
Can you kind of take me through that a little bit? Like, pretend like you're an analyst for ESPN, and you're kind of taking me through, or maybe, you're up in front of the team, in film and kind of explaining how the play kind of broke down. Talk about the execution and what, the coaches were kind of looking for on that play.
So we just got the ball back thanks to Magi and Eli, and we were running a screenplay, get us in the grooves. We were down. We had 3 minutes left, and the linemen and the receivers, the perimeter blocking was all good. I saw the lane, and I took it all the way.
Yeah, that was probably a fantastic feeling, especially being at home. And at that point, I know the game wasn't over yet, but when you reached the end zone, what was kind of going through your mind?
I was just happy that I scored, I heard the crowd. They were excited. They were loud.
Well, and you pulled away from everybody on that play. And I was talking with our guys, Anthony D'Annunzio and Brent Wiggum, who called the game. And Anthony said that it looked like you're even a step faster this year. Was that something you worked on in the offseason? Do you feel that your speed is increased even this year?
Yeah, I definitely did work on my speed in the offseason, really get into the grind. I knew I had to get faster to compete. And yeah.
So I don't want to, I guess, release too much of the playbook here, but you also threw a touchdown pass. So actually, I guess you guys had 3 quarterbacks kind of last week with that trick play. Kind of take me through that play too, if you could, Jayce. And is that something we may see later down the line too?
Teams might key on it now. I used to play quarterback when I was younger.
Okay.
So the coaches had that designed up, and Kiwani faked the block, and we scored.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing. I know Marcus is young. Kaimani, you kind of want to move him around a little bit. Never a bad thing to, if needed, for you to take some snaps, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, though, about, Marcus at quarterback. We saw Kaimani there as well on Friday. Does that change anything you do from a receiving standpoint?
No, they're both great quarterbacks. I've been catching balls from them for forever, since I was a little kid. So I know they both can get the ball to me. I know how good they both are.
Tell me a little bit about how the team is meshing. Obviously, you lost some good players from last year, just like every team goes through. Noah Sanders, Peyton Moulter, to 2 of those, among a few others as well. Talk about how the team is meshing early on in the season.
We're meshing really, really good. Losing Peyton and Noah, that's definitely a big hit, but a lot of our guys stepped up in the leadership roles, and a lot of our guys, want to compete and want to win.
Speaking of those leadership roles, you're one of the youngest captains in Jayhawk history as just a sophomore. What did that mean to you when you were named captain, and what does that kind of mean to you day in and day out from in practice and in games? Do you take on that leadership role and kind of know what that means?
Yeah, it meant a lot to me. Knowing that the guys trust me to be their captain, it felt really good. And just carrying myself to a higher standard being the captain, holding everybody accountable, holding myself accountable. And yeah.
Jayce, your favorite part of playing football, what would you say that would be? What really do you enjoy most about playing the sport?
Scoring touchdowns for sure. I like defense. I like hitting people. And I just like hearing the crowd when I like the Friday night lights, like just that idea of football.
Well, and tell me a little bit about the defensive side, because, we always want to talk about offense, but, defensively, you let up 27 points, which I'm sure was more than you would have liked. What were some of the things that you saw on film that you'd like to clean up for this week against Apollo Ridge on defense?
Definitely getting off the blocks, recognizing the plays. Mount Pleasant ran a lot of counters and play actions and stuff. We want to clean up the seams, but we definitely want to stop the run.
You're playing for Coach Tom Pallone, who's done a really good job of kind of, bringing the tradition back to Jeannette and kind of instilling that in you guys. And what is it kind of like playing for him, and what are some of his best qualities?
Coach P, he always brings the energy at practice. He always communicates with the players. He asks how we're feeling. He does a great job of feeding us after practices and games. And I think he's just a great coach.
What's your favorite recipe? What's your favorite selection from Coach Pallone?
We go to his dad's and we have the pasta on Thursdays for the carbs. That's definitely the best meal.
Yeah, you got to load up on those. And I remember last year, I think maybe that was just seniors or something, but there was that steak dinner. Maybe it was for everybody. It looked good, though.
It definitely was. It was for seniors, and some of the seniors brought some underclassmen like me and Magi.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. And that promotes the family tradition there, and that's certainly very, very important. How do you keep this momentum going this week? Tell us about Apollo Ridge, Jayce. What have you seen from them kind of on film, and what do you guys have to do to get your second victory of the season?
They throw a lot more than Mount Pleasant. They're like an air raid type of team like us. They have some athletic kids on defense. They have a good secondary. Just really knowing the plays, knowing the concepts, knowing what they're going to run. So we watch a lot of film so we could jump the routes and stuff like that.
Well, it should be a great matchup on Friday night. And I want to leave you with this. Everybody I talk to from Jeannette, I have to ask them, what does it mean to be a Jayhawk, to play at McKee Stadium on Friday nights in front of those crowds, and to think about their tradition? Is that something that, again, you guys talk a lot about, and what does it mean to be a Jeannette Jayhawk to you?
It means a lot. Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed of playing under those lights at McKee Stadium. It's definitely a brotherhood here. Everybody, it's a small town, so everybody really supports each other. And I really like that.
Jayce, keep balling out, man. You were a lot of fun to watch last week. Stay healthy. And again, have a great season. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. Congratulations.
Thank you.